Hey, Apple!
What?
All my fellas. All my fellas.
Next is Candy Cane Lane, which was actually really funny. Eddie Murphy did a really good job in this movie as well as the other actors. It was a really fun movie with a lot of funny jokes. An overall great Christmas movie. Next up is Scooby-Doo and Krypto 2. Man, I really wanted to love this movie, but it overall was just okay. It's your standard Scooby-Doo movie, but with DC characters in it, which sounds awesome, but in execution it was just alright. Basically, it's about the Mystery Gang and Krypto being trapped inside of the Hall of Justice and having to figure out what happened to the Justice League and where they went. Again, sounds really cool, but it overall was just boring. How did that happen? The idea of Scooby teaming up with Krypto? That's like my dream come true. It sounds so cool, but it just wasn't that great here. They should have gave Krypto a voice so he can communicate with Scooby. That would have been so cool. Bring back Sam Vincent to voice Krypto. I don't know, just do something interesting with this premise. But that's basically the biggest problem with this film. It's missed potential. Also, the fact that Scooby and Krypto just feel like background characters most of the time, which really sucks. They should have done it like how they did it in the Courage the Cowardly Dog movie, where Courage and Scooby had scenes together and did amazing things in the movie. They should have done that with Scooby and Krypto in this one. Make Krypto and Scooby important characters in this movie. Their names are in the title, for crying out loud. But even with my criticisms, I still kind of like the movie, because, you know, Scooby-Doo is in it with Krypto. Even though it wasn't done well, it still was kind of cool. My boys together in a movie, oh my gosh! I'm biased, leave me alone. Alright, Warner Brothers, you released this movie, now release the Coyote movie and Holiday Haunt. Please! Next is the Hunger Games prequel movie, which was actually pretty good. The story and acting was just phenomenal in this movie. And the first 2/3 of it were just incredible. And while the last third of the movie wasn't as good, I still really enjoyed it. Definitely a great movie. Next is Ruby Gilman, which was pretty okay. I unfortunately don't have that much to say about it other than that it's just okay. It basically just feels like a watered down Turning Red. That pun was completely unintentional, I am sorry. It does have really good animation and some cute moments, but it overall was just okay. Next is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And unlike every person on the internet, I actually like this movie. Seriously, what's wrong with this movie, guys? It just feels like every other Indiana Jones movie, and that's not a bad thing. I think it's a good movie. Next is Quiz Lady, and I found this movie to be incredibly hilarious. The story was great and heartwarming, the jokes hilarious, and the two main leads are amazing. Next is Scream 6, which was really good. Having the typical Scream plot take place in a city this time is honestly really cool. And I loved the callbacks to the previous movies. It's a scary but fun time. Next is Knock at the Cabin, which was really creepy. This movie was just so intense and so shocking. It was really crazy. This movie keeps you on your toes, keeps you guessing, keeps you asking questions. It's insane. It's a really great movie. Next up is The Magician's Elephant, and my goodness, was this movie just so cute. It's a very wholesome story with a lot of sweet and touching moments. It's like a modern day fairy tale. It is very simple, but it thrives with this simplicity. It's a wonderful little movie. Next is Mutant Mayhem, which is both good and also kind of annoying. Like, there's a lot of things that this movie does right, but there's also some other things that doesn't make the movie work for me. Like, for example, this incarnation of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are kind of annoying. Like, I get it, I know they're teenagers and they're supposed to act like teenagers, but they just go overboard with it in this movie. But what about Turning Red? They acted like teenagers in that movie and they were annoying, but you didn't have a problem with that. Number one, it didn't feel like or tried to feel like they were being annoying, they were just having fun. And number two, their quote-unquote annoying scenes didn't even last that long, they were pretty short. And in Mutant Mayhem, it just goes on and on and on.
Bacon, egg, and cheese. Let me get a bucket of cheese. Yo, let me get that bacon.
And some of the humor did get on my nerves, but most of the time was pretty funny. And even though I do like this version of Splinter, I do kind of wish they made him a little bit more of a badass. Like, I wish it was a mixture of both a really cool badass ninja like his previous incarnations, but also a loving and caring father like he is in this movie.
It's hard to meet other mutants my age.
Okay, what the f***? That shit was actually stupid, what the hell. But anyway, despite my issues with this movie, I still really enjoyed it. I love the animation, I love the villains, I love the story, it was all really good. Next is the Marvels, which I actually kinda liked. Yes, despite the many issues with this movie, I actually still had fun with it. I really liked Miss Marvel, and she was the best part of the movie. That scene though with the baby kittens, that was kind of stupid, not gonna lie. But I still overall had fun. Next is Quantumania, and much like the Marvels, even though it was really stupid, I still kind of enjoyed it. The plot was very interesting, and even though the movie does have stupid moments, it's at least funny.
I don't know, just don't be a dick.
I'm such a dick.
May the best Avenger rest in peace. That moment when a Paw Patrol superhero movie beats out 2 MCU movies. And I'm not lying because this movie is honestly pretty good. It's not a masterpiece, but for what it is, they put in a lot of effort. It looks great, the story is good, and the villains were really fun. I just thought the movie was really cute. Next Goal Wins is next, and it was a really good surprise. This movie had a ton of heart and a lot of good laughs. Like seriously, there was a lot of good jokes in this movie. I normally don't like sports movies, but this one I loved. Nimona is next, and it was really good. Unfortunately, I don't have too much to say about this movie other than that it was really good. The story was fantastic, great characters, and a very unique art style. Next is The Flash, which I thought was quite good. And yes, I am aware that this movie has a lot of dumb stuff in it, but the good stuff is really good. Like when the CGI isn't awful, the action scenes are pretty awesome. And Supergirl was just so freaking cool. I hope she'll be in the next DCU because I loved her so much here. And the movie was really emotional, like I got teary-eyed at some scenes. It has a lot of flaws, but I overall really liked this movie. Oh boy, time to talk about this movie. Let me be clear before I continue, I do think that this movie is good. But holy fucking shit, The villain was amazing, the acting and voice acting top notch, and the story so good. So at least those aspects, the important aspects of a movie are good, they really were. But then,
My beloved raccoon.
this entire scene could have been so perfect. But then they had to do that, like why? Didn't she just say friends earlier?
Friend.
Then what the f was that gesture in line? They were established as just being friends. Then with no build-up, out of nowhere, they're in love? Like, what the hell? I really did love this scene, and I even loved Lila, but that just ruined it for me, like, gosh. That hug would have been just fine. But when I talk about this scene with my friends online and in real life, they actually have a very different interpretation to this scene. They all took that nose rub and line as platonic, which, number one, I did not expect them to say that. And second, to be honest, when you do view those two moments as platonic, it does fix the scene. But as much as I want to believe that it's platonic and view it as platonic, I don't think that's the case. At least that's how I see it. I think it's supposed to be a reference to their romantic relationship in the comics. Like, Lila is known as quote-unquote Rocket's soulmate in the comics. It's kinda dumb. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe those two moments are supposed to be platonic and I just couldn't see it at the time. But until we get an official answer, I'm just gonna sit here and be sad. But other than that, the rest of the movie is still really good and really powerful. Like I said earlier, a really great villain, really good characters and story, and really amazing acting from everyone. Next up is Elemental, which could have been such a boring and cliched movie, but actually turned out to be pretty good. And the reason why I say that is just based off the trailers alone. We all know this story. It's a will they won't they story with the same cliches, the same plot points, the same characters. It's very common, done to death. It just looked very standard. But with Pixar being Pixar, they decided to make the characters, world, and environment all based on elements, which is such a genius idea and really made this story work. It makes this overdone story unique, fresh, and different, which I really love. And the animation was absolutely beautiful in this movie. But it isn't perfect. Like, sometimes Wade can be just a little too annoying and Ember just a little bit too much of a jerk, which is alright, but it just gets to the point where I'm just asking myself, like, what the hell are you even doing? But at least the romance was pretty cute and sweet. Not as good as Pixar's other romances, but still pretty passable. It was overall a cute time. Next is Migration, which was also pretty adorable. Right off the bat, I just gotta say that the flying scenes in this movie are so beautiful and so well done. It really makes you feel like you're flying with them. Anyway, the story structure in this movie feels a lot like the Mario movie, which we will get to soon. What I mean by that is that even though this movie does have a story, it does have an end goal, it mostly just feels like stuff happening without rhyme or reason all throughout the movie. I don't know how else to explain it, it just feels like a mess, but it's a good mess. Like, it was messy, but it was fun to watch. And most of the characters were really great, my favorite being Awkwafina's character, Chump. She was just so cute and funny. I wish she got more screen time though, she was really funny. Moving on to the villain though, I didn't think he was that good. He didn't even look that good, I just did not like his design. But the rest of the characters were really good. I loved the parents, I loved Keegan-Michael Key's character. Everyone else was just great. It's a really fun and cute little movie.